We were originally promised a democratized future where human knowledge was universally accessible. Instead, the most advanced artificial intelligence systems are being deliberately sealed behind proprietary corporate walls. This tension escalated recently when a prominent safety-focused lab released a Mythos-level frontier model. It easily surpassed previous performance benchmarks, but the rollout triggered immediate criticism from the developer community. The lab mandated a universal 30-day data retention policy for every prompt and piece of context submitted to the model. This policy was applied to everyone, even overriding pre-existing zero data retention agreements held by their enterprise clients. Researchers discovered shadow nerfing. Prompts flagged for machine learning or chip design were diverted to a less capable model, yet users paid full price. Alongside this, the platform silently rewrote prompts in the background, modifying instructions before the model processed them. These secret restrictions place leading AI labs in a position of absolute control over the research of their users. For any business built on these platforms, it means their core operations are subject to a level of invisible oversight and alteration that makes them vulnerable to being cut off without warning. As these companies build their walls higher, their safety guardrails are becoming increasingly broad. Specialized researchers running genomic and molecular predictions are finding their work disrupted, with the systems flagging legitimate scientific queries as bioweapon risks. To survive these front-end disruptions, developers are abandoning proprietary systems. They are shifting their infrastructure to decentralized open-source AI models that they can download and run on their own hardware. In response, executives from the major AI labs have begun heavily lobbying the government. They're pushing lawmakers to establish strict institutional oversight, specifically calling for regulatory frameworks similar to those used in the airline or pharmaceutical industries. Critics point out that this is a move toward regulatory capture. By demanding massive institutional compliance checks, the established labs are designing a legal moat. Small open-source developers simply do not have the legal staff or capital to meet these rules. The push for AI safety laws creates an environment where decentralized competition is effectively outlawed, making the current corporate monopolies nearly impossible to challenge. But the open-source community faces an even larger threat outside of the courtroom. Their real obstacle is physical infrastructure. This chart shows the capital required to scale software on the left compared to the $100 billion scale required for frontier AI data centers on the right. To truly compete at the highest level today requires an investment in physical hardware that few entities can afford. Because these castes have scaled beyond the reach of the private market, the most powerful open-source alternatives are currently originating out of China. This gives foreign systems a structural advantage while Western companies restrict their own platforms. Between legal restrictions and insurmountable hardware costs, the open-source rebellion is losing ground. Global AI power is now rapidly consolidating into the hands of a few heavily funded megacorporations and foreign states. To counter this consolidation, a third paradigm is gaining traction: nationalizing AI. Recent legislative proposals suggest that the public should own a stake in major AI corporations through a sovereign wealth fund. This push stems from a pervasive anxiety that AI will cause a massive wave of job losses. Citizens are asking what benefit they receive from this technology if its primary use is to replace their labor. However, current business data shows that AI usage is actually boosting revenue and driving hiring for new products. Rather than simply cutting workforce costs, companies are using the technology to build things that were previously impossible to create. The argument for public equity rests on two pillars. The first is that these models derive their value from being trained, for free, on thousands of years of humanity's collective music, books, and code. The second pillar is infrastructure. Unlike the internet, AI requires a massive, continuous drain on physical resources. These data centers rely heavily on public electricity, water, and grid resilience to stay online. Just like the historical transportation networks, private AI companies are building their businesses on top of public infrastructure. Because they rely so heavily on government-funded power and resilience, many argue the state is entitled to an equity stake. We are now deciding the future of a technology built on centuries of human data and powered by public grids. The choice is whether it will operate as an exclusive private toll road, a decentralized Wild West, or a publicly owned utility.